I don't know. If you can, go for it. If not, no one's worried about it.
Yes. For example, I'm in a basement in a closet and I just decorate it with my product.
Right. So just say, much like many of you, I'm in a basement.
I'm working out of my walk-in closet, so
yes.
It's all good.
That's great.
Good morning. I am Maggie McCammon. I am the Portfolio Manager for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at MEDC. And today I am joined by two superstars in our entrepreneurship ecosystem. Mr. Will Mayer is the Vice President of Entrepreneurial Services at Ann Arbor Spark, and Christina York is the founder and CEO of SpellBound. And we are here today to talk about a brand new statewide intern program called the Michigan STEM Forward. And this will provide internship opportunities for college students throughout the state who are studying in STEM areas. And this is obviously crucial to the success of Michigan's economy. So if you have any feedback or questions, please feel free to put them in the comments box and we'll answer as many of those as we can. But let's not waste any more time. Bill, can we jump right in? Can you tell us exactly what this wonderful new program is?
Indeed, Maggie. Thank you for that lovely intro. So my name is Bill Mayer and I lead the entrepreneurship support team at Ann Arbor Spark. And so my team works to provide all sorts of services to our companies. And one core service offering that we've had in Ann Arbor for the past 10 years or so is a matching program where if one of our companies, one of our client companies wants to take on either an intern or an additional intern beyond the budget they have available, we can match them dollar for dollar up to a cap, either $3,000 for a full-time intern or $1,500 for a part-time intern, to really encourage our companies to take advantage of the excellent labor resource of our talented STEM students at our local universities, U of M's regular central campus in Ann Arbor, as well as Eastern Michigan University and Washtenaw Community College, WCC. So based on the success that we've had in that program, and by success I mean of the students that have gone through this matching program with us, 84% of those students are still in Michigan today, after graduation, working in a professional field that's relevant to the internship that they did. And so we wanted to scale that statewide. And Maggie, let me just say thank you officially. The MEDC has funded that program and is allowing us to take the best practices that we've learned in Ann Arbor and make it available across the entire state of Michigan. And that's why I'm so excited to have Christina here, because Christina is someone who knows how to leverage interns.
Yes, well, starting a company is very difficult to get things off the ground. There's a million challenges, and finding talent shouldn't have to be one of the things that really bogs you down. So without Spark and the internship matching program, we leverage it every year that we've been a startup with Spark, and it got our company off the ground. It got our product to market. It got us our first sales, and it has gotten us full-time employees that we still have today leading our team. So we are, I'm a huge fan of this program, clearly.
Yes, and we love having you as a client, so thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about SpellBound?
Yeah, so SpellBound is an augmented reality company. We're based here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we create immersive 3D experiences for children in hospitals to help them through their healthcare journey. And whether it's reducing perception of pain or encouraging mobility, we use 3D games to get kids to positively participate. So as a technology company that's using augmented reality, we've had need for a lot of different talent in the area. So getting our product off the ground, of course we need engineers, but we also needed 3D artists and composers, musicians, and people who can write narratives and storylines. So a lot of different creative folks as well that we really needed to try to bring into this technology community. And outside of, say, West Coast big game studios, I think most people who are coming out of colleges, like the College for Creative Studies, Detroit, or Lawrence Tech, or Washtenaw Community College, certainly Eastern Michigan University. We would, maybe advertise jobs and not get anybody to apply, and very quickly find out that those people had moved to the West Coast. So the matching program at Spark was a way of like kind of pulling in this giant talent pool, like exposing our company to the larger community in and around Ann Arbor for us. And we hired students from all over. Like I had mentioned, we did hire from Lawrence Tech and the College for Creative Studies. And it was an amazing opportunity for us to just get our company name out there and expose the opportunity to these students to say, if you're an artist or musician, you don't need to go to the West Coast. You can stay here in Michigan, and there are great jobs here. And you can graduate and stick around and continue to work. But for the internship program, it's also a great way for us to kind of de-risk bringing on new talent as well. I think that sometimes you're focused on a lot of things. Maybe you haven't, as a person starting a company, you haven't done a lot of interviewing or hiring. And sometimes when you're interviewing students, they don't necessarily come across as seasoned interview professionals. And so it can be really difficult to find that talent you need. And I think the program that Spark offered us could funnel those people in. With the matching funds, it de-risked it for us. We could take a chance on somebody that we thought had great potential and bring them on board for an internship program, and then decide later, do we want to hire them or can we hire them full time? And they can also get exposed to startup life and decide, is this right for me? And we've had amazing experiences because of it.
So I want to go into that a little bit deeper, Christina. And I just want to say, as a preface, this program is available to companies of all sizes. So it's not just startups, but since you're a startup, we're going to be biased for a moment and talk about startups, because startups have some inherent disadvantages, right? You can't compete pay scale wise with Fortune 500s. And you don't have a recruiting team, and you can't go visit colleges all over the country and all of that. So, I'm going to make a speculative statement and tell me if I'm way off. If you were to create sort of a dream engineering job description, somebody that knows like Unity and, whatever else, and has, 10 years of experience and can face with customers and all this, what are the odds in today's job market, today's talent situation, that you could write out your dream job description and actually find that person as a startup and be able to hire them?
Virtually zero. I would say not only do we require a special skill set, it's high in demand. And I think the pandemic has really kind of obliterated all borders or geography, I guess, in hiring. So it's really difficult being in the middle of the country, an early stage startup, to say, yeah, we can pay you West Coast fees or East Coast fees to work with us, when like we might not even be paying ourselves at the beginning. And so finding passionate people who have skills and who are committed to career growth is what's been so valuable for us. Students who want to be part of this program, I mean, to be an intern, usually are like trying to get ahead and get that experience. So, there's big companies around here. We compete a lot for talent with big gaming companies on the West Coast. So whether it's for artists or engineers, and we've managed to keep engineers and artists in the area, and all because we began hiring through internship programs like that Spark, the matching program that Spark offers, and get to know them, understand how to manage them properly, how to set them up for success and career development, and get what the company needs to move forward, and then be able to make an offer at the end of the day. So I think for us, we compete also. University of Michigan is here. They're a big hiring company, the health system as well as the university, and they have great tech programs coming out of that. We want to be able to also have a crack at that talent pool, and to say, this is a viable career path for you starting out, to come to a smaller company that is, aiming to make big waves in an industry. So I think it risks it for everyone.
Selling on passion. I love it.
Yeah.
Passion and mission. Right. Because, just to frame this in the context of the larger economy, I don't have to tell anyone that there's a crunch for STEM talent nationally, if not globally. And so, it's really encouraging to hear that, as I won't call a startup disadvantaged, maybe under-resourced is a better word. And so, the fact that if you have if they're in your front yard, you have an advantage where you've got a great university in your community. It's sort of, and I'm going to have you speak about this just for a second. It's like a first mover advantage on being able to actually meet those students and say, hey, you don't have to be a doctor, lawyer, or teacher after you graduate. You could work in a tech company. And do you mind speaking for a moment of the interns that you've had? Maybe you could profile one if you wanted to, but, was it something where they realized in their mind, hey, I could work for an augmented reality company? Or, was it a bit of a conversation with the students and, kind of overlooking what I described as the ideal job description and maybe seeing some things in a student that, you were willing to take that bet on?
Yeah, I think for us, there's roles that we hire for in technology that I think when students are in school, they don't traditionally think as technology roles per se, like musicians or artists. And so I think the example I would use is, we were really in need of 3D artists or animators, and people don't think of Michigan as a place that is, there's wonderful programs, some of the best programs in the country, like College for Creative Studies. Eastern Michigan has an awesome 3D animation program. So Michigan is producing talent in that area. And the gap is that students don't realize that they could graduate and stay here because there are jobs available. And I guess the biggest job opportunity before we really had before Spark could expose us to these students was like people thinking they would have to do 3D models of trucks and cars for the auto industry. And that's a great job, but if you're, if you're done modeling pickup trucks, you want to maybe move into something else in your career. I think students didn't have the picture of where else they could go. So I think that not only is it exposing our company to a lot of students, but it's also educating that intern market, that talent pool of there's more than you think here. And so we hired who's now our head of our lead artist in the company, and we hired him, and Spark helped us with the matching so we could afford to hire him. We hired him hired him full-time, and he heads up our whole creative department now. And then after that, he went on to also continue to teach at Eastern Michigan to kind of give back and bring in, encourage spreading the word about internships and the companies that are offering it in the community. So that has been a huge success story for us, that we would never have been able to lure someone away from a bigger creative company with what we could afford to pay.
Oh, that's great. And this is, why I find this program particularly exciting. And actually, I benefit from it too. I actually just last week hired a woman onto my team that was an intern with us. So it's a really nice pipeline for talent, no matter who you are.
So Bill, we're getting a lot of questions coming in asking, how do I get started? If I want an internship, if I want to find out about it, where do I go? Who do I contact? How do I do it? Bill, do you want to give an overview on that?
Sure. And let me just confirm, we're talking from the perspective of the student, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, one of the things as a student, and this is something I speak primarily from the perspective of the University of Michigan because we do the most work with them, but I also, have a fair amount of interface with Eastern Michigan University and Washtenaw Community College. It's this, sort of, you have the walls of the university, and then you have the rest of the community in the region. And so as an economic development professional, and certainly in the entrepreneurship space, to me, it's just making what we're already doing visible to the students. The more we can show the students, the more we can demonstrate to the students, there's this host of companies in Ann Arbor, but in the entire state of Michigan, because I think that's one of the things, that's an area of opportunity and growth for us is, it's not just the Ann Arbor companies. There might be companies in the UP or, up in Traverse City or wherever that could help and take interns from Ann Arbor or, Detroit or wherever. So if there's more geographic fluidity, I think there's just going to be more opportunity for the students. So a big thing that we're going to be doing, and we'll really be focusing on it this summer, is going into the universities with our local partners, our economic development organization partners, and smart zones, et cetera, and really just showcasing what great companies like SpellBound are doing in Michigan and that there are opportunities with them. So a student can just go to our website, annarborusa.org, and up on the top of the page, there's a link called Jobs. If you click on that, you'll see the MI STEM Forward link. And there, all the information for both companies and students is available. The student submission the student submission form is live right now. And we already have students putting their information into the platform that we've built that I'll explain here in a moment. But we ask that the students, what's your major? What are your areas of interest? Are you doing anything beyond your classes that we should know about? And we also ask, are you looking for intern, hybrid, completely remote internship opportunity? And are there any specific companies that you found really cool in Michigan that you'd be interested in checking out? So, that's one side of this platform. And then on Monday, our company submission link will be going live, and companies can start submitting their job descriptions. And we're looking really for these STEM-based job descriptions. So just like Christina was saying, if you're doing graphic design, 3D modeling, writing code, doing engineering work, things like that, we're really looking for a STEM focus. So it doesn't have to be a technology company per se. We're looking for technology-based roles inside of that company that the interns would perform. And so a student does their submission, they're going to be visible to all the companies. All the companies are going to be visible to the students. And hopefully there's a lot of browsing and filtering that goes on that will, we're sort of in a build stage right now, but our ultimate goal is to create complete visibility of the students. And if you're a student and you're thinking about an internship, you'd be crazy not to, into STEM internship, to throw your resume into the database, because then you just become visible to all these employers. And then I'm sure they'll be doing other things, working their network, going to websites, looking for job postings. But, we want every college and university student in the state of Michigan who has an interest in STEM to be in that database. And we want every company that's looking for internships in STEM to be in that database and have matching happen.
So just to clarify there, you can help the student and kind of match make with the company. How about if a student already has a company in mind or a company already has an intern in mind? So
we can work with that too. So if a company already has their intern selected, they can submit to us, and if they're approved, we'll obviously look at the student and make sure that everything's squared away. But really, if the company feels strongly that this is the right fit for them, that'll work. And so we should be able to enable that.
Great. So Christina, there's one there for you. What are some ways to teach interns new skills while managing projects that you need done at the same time? That's a hard one.
Care and feeding, perhaps?
Yeah. Yes, lots of snacks. So, I mean, prior to having a startup, obviously, when I'm not going to speak to the, bigger company perspective. You have, infrastructure and teams and, programs in place that often are, it makes it much smoother. For a smaller company, for us, it was really about complete transparency in the company. Like an intern joining a early stage startup gets exposure to every aspect of how that company operates. So if you're an engineer, you're going to have the opportunity to maybe hear investor calls or to participate more directly in customer facing conversations. Sometimes it is a lot of shadowing, and just for us, it was about it's a small team number. How are we constantly communicating and sharing ideas? I think the other thing about teaching interns is, for us, it was not about you're going to make, say, one tiny widget in a giant machine, and it's going to be hard coming out of this to point out what you actually accomplished. For us as a startup that really relied on this matching program, we were able to give students work that's like, it's going to see the light of day, and here's a deadline, and this is real world. There is no missing a deadline as an intern, and it's also like, you're important. Your work here matters, and your work here is going to directly feed our go-to-market strategy or our revenue. So I think the interns could see a direct connection to even every line of code that they wrote, the outcome for the company. And I think that's the quickest way to kind of get students acclimated to the culture, understand the importance of their work and how it relates to top level goals for a company. You might not get that if you internship in other places, but certainly here at a smaller company, you get that visibility. We don't have a robust mentorship program, but you can. You're going to partner up. You're going to learn your job, and you're going to get exposed to all these other opportunities within the company, and you can choose how you participate, because never a set job description for a startup, right?
Right.
I think I wanted to mention earlier too, Bill, Spark has so many great programs that go on in the area too, like Student Tech Trek and other things that to engage students throughout the year, not just at the time of an internship program, that kind of funnels it in and increases the awareness. And it helps us to meet the students in the community and for them to connect with us over time so that they can learn more about the company before they even begin to think about applying for internships. So it's like almost pre-qualifying these students. When it's time to train them on their specific tasks for their work, we're not spending a lot of time educating them about the company or the mission or our business model. They've learned those things through that engagement, through Spark over time. And I think that's a great opportunity for us just to hit the ground running.
Thanks for the plug on Student Tech Trek, Christina. And that's an example. There's the Small Company Career Fair. There's lots of examples that we have, and we're intent on building a toolkit that we can share with our EDOs and our other referring entities like Smart Zones, for example, that if they want to start to implement some of these ideas, that we're trying to collect great ideas from around the state and create a repository that they can be shared, and then we can actually help with brokering, either introductions or helping to facilitate doing some of those things in other communities, hopefully to achieve the goal of getting more students into internships. And just one last point on what you just said, because that was great, Christina. In the evaluation criteria, and that's laid out on the website, which is on the bottom of the screen right now, we list the criteria for evaluation. And supervision of the intern, whether that's a track record of successful interns or just, having a manager that's capable of providing a great experience to an intern, that's one of our review criteria. And people get pretty creative. The larger the organization, the bigger the team, the more resources. And they get pretty creative about rotating interns and doing things like that. So we're not prescriptive about the experience, but we are looking to validate that it will be a good experience that the student can then take back to school, use, and translate hopefully into a great career after graduation.
Yeah, so just to kind of give a couple of plugs here, as someone who's run a startup business, I can tell you that people are exposed to levels they'd never be exposed to in a big company, like you say, investor calls, kind of board type decisions. So the experience that the intern will get in a startup company is much bigger than you'd get being a small cog in a big company. And also, as you say, the tech trek and things, this is a small part of the entrepreneur ecosystem. Once an intern comes in and becomes part of this ecosystem and gets exposed to the other opportunities, there's a lot more out there. So, there's a lot of training, there's a lot of mentoring, there's a lot of opportunities. And again, if you're applying for a tech job within Michigan, having a kind of insider reference from a Michigan company, and someone like Christina will be huge in getting you your next job and your next promotion. So those are all really good points to bring up for the intern program and the amazing experience it could be for a student. I have one question that I think we should touch on. The audience is wondering if the program is open to those without degrees, and if the program is open to current students or only recent grads.
So I can field that. So let me preemptively say this is relevant both for associate and bachelor, master, PhD, postdoc candidates. So we don't have, a minimum set for a bachelor's, something like that. And absolutely, yes, I would say, and Christina, correct me if you disagree, it's sort of like the rising junior, rising senior. Those summer opportunities are, really fruitful in terms of taking interns. However, if someone's already graduated, or let's say, it's April 15th, and so normally this would be a stressful day. It's not this year. It's April 15th. And so, let's say someone's graduating May 1st. We look, roughly 12 months after graduation, if they want to try and secure an internship with a company, we would consider them eligible for the match. Beyond that, it's going to be a case-by-case basis. We'd have to understand it. When is someone no longer qualified for an intern? You're safe if you're inside the 12 months after graduation.
Okay, wonderful. So we're running very short of time. So Bill, Christina, are there any kind of closing remarks you want to make or anything you want to touch on before we get closed down?
Christina?
I just think that this program is such an easy way to get connected into such a rich community that's full of opportunity. People are passionate about the company side about being part of this. You're going to get a passionate employer that is excited about this opportunity to match with a student. Students that want internships are passionate about evolving their skills, and really, I just find contributing and making a difference. And this is such an easy and simple way for everybody to get what they want out of it. And I'm just very grateful for MEDC and Spark.
Thank you, Christina. That's amazing. So the last things that I'll say are, summer's approaching fast, and so students are going to be graduating here. So this is a brand new program, and we're really excited, and we're working furiously to get it launched. This Monday, which is April 19th, is when the company submission link will go live. So I would suggest to everyone, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, review the criteria and then do your submission on Monday, or as soon as you can, because we'll be working furiously to get everyone processed. We're already getting interns put into the database. It's going to start working here fast. So all I have to say is we don't have a ton of time until interns are actually going to start working. So we're ready to go if you all are.
And just one last point, Bill, it's a kind of rolling deadline. Is that correct?
It is. So there's no cutoff, but I will say, our goal is to place between 425 and 450 interns in 2021. And I know it's really optimistic to think that they could all be filled, this summer, but it's usually a bell curve when it comes to the calendar year, and you'll see the bulk of the internships happening in the summer. So if it's June and you still need one, or it's, the fall and you still need an internship, we will make a notice on our website when we have hit our cap of interns. But in the meantime, keep them coming.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. And just a reminder to anyone who's interested in this program or any others, all this information is always available at Michigan Business/entrepreneurship. Okay, thank you very much, guys. And we will speak again soon.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.